All that being said, I actually do have a suggestion for you about our home.
A suggestion? You have an idea?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it for a bit.
What is it? Don't be shy, just tell me.
What do you think about a two-family house?
A two-family house? Does that mean you're going to invite your mother over to live with us? Is something the matter? This is rather sudden. My name is Kazaki. I met my husband Atsushi through a mutual colleague at work, and we got married 4 years ago. We weren't blessed with any children, but we have been living a smooth sailing life without any troubles. Well, that is until one fateful day.
Good morning.
Atsushi, good morning.
Phew. It's my first day off in a long time, so I really slept like a log.
You sure as hell did. It's already the afternoon. Isn't that too much sleep?
It's okay to do that on a day off once in a while, isn't it? I've been sleep deprived for a while, so...
I suppose you're right.
By the way, what have you been looking at since earlier? You're looking intently at some kind of booklet, I see.
Oh, this? This is a property information magazine.
A property information magazine? Why are you looking at something like that?
Well, it's been almost 2 years since we moved into this house. It's about time to update the contract for this place, and I was thinking a new house would be better.
I see. Damn, it's been 2 years already? Time flies for real.
This house isn't bad at all, but I thought if we're going to update the contract, we might as well look for a new house too. And look, honey, there are so many types of homes.
Oh, let's see!
This is a house very close to a station. It's only a 2-minute walk, so it's very accessible. This other place here is a bit of a walk from the station, but the living room here is super spacious. This one is a house with a terrace. I've always thought houses with big terraces would be great to live in.
You're daydreaming a bunch, aren't you, honey? Aren't you jumping the gun a little? And I like our current house, too.
I'm certainly satisfied with our current house, of course. But if we think about having children in the future, wouldn't a slightly bigger house be better?
Well, I guess that's true.
And this place is a rental, so I think it's about time we bought our own home and started investing in the future. I don't think that's a bad idea.
You're right. It's about time to start thinking about having our own home. Truly.
Right? It's a good idea, isn't it?
All that being said, I actually do have a suggestion for you about our home.
A suggestion? You have an idea?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it for a bit.
What is it? Don't be shy, just tell me.
What do you think about a two-family house?
A two-family house? Does that mean you're going to invite your mother over to live with us? Is something the matter? This is rather sudden.
Actually, one of my colleagues at work has started construction on a two-family residence, and I've heard a lot of stories. The point is that it seems that two-family houses are being sold at pretty reasonable prices.
Oh, I see.
And also, you know how my dad kicked the bucket 2 years ago? Can't blame me for worrying about leaving Mom alone in her house, which is also pretty far away. So if you're okay with it, I was hoping we'd buy a two-family house. What do you think? I'm sure you don't want that. I'm not gonna force you to do this, honey. And if you don't want to, please, just forget about it. It's just a suggestion after all.
To be honest, I had only a brief introduction to Atsushi's mother when I got married, so I didn't know her very well at all, and didn't know what kind of person she was in the home. So there were some parts of the idea that didn't sit well with me. But when a wife hears things like this, she can't just trample on her husband's feelings without hesitation. I guess you're right about this. Okay, honey, that sounds like a good idea.
Wait, really?
Of course. It's true that your mother isn't young anymore, and you never know what's going to happen. I'm sure she wants to be close to her son, too.
Kisaki, thank you so much. I've caused Mom a lot of trouble, so I want to repay her, no matter what.
Yes, and that's a wonderful thing. I'm your wife, so I'll support your feelings and causes.
This is a huge help, honey. Thank you for understanding.
What do you think you'll do in the near future, then? Will your mother come here for the time being?
Let's see. I think she'll move as soon as we find a good property.
That's wise. We haven't decided on a property just yet, anyway.
Yeah, and not to worry. I'll proceed with most of the preparations. For now, can I tell my mother about what we decided?
Yeah, by all means.
Okay then. I'll look for good two-family houses to buy, so if you find a good one, please, let me know.
Sure, honey.
Is there anything else you want to run by me?
Let's see. Actually, there's one personal thing I would like you to respect. Mind if I tell you?
Something to respect?
Yes. I'm happy that your mother will come to live with us, but please make sure we have some privacy. I want to cherish our time as a married couple, and I want some time to myself, too.
Ah, you have nothing to worry about regarding that. You probably don't know the details, but these days, It's possible to have a two-family house that's two houses with separate locks attached.
Really?
So basically, I think we'll be living separate lives. And of course, we'll most likely eat meals together sometimes.
Well then, that sounds awesome. I hope we can live happily with your mother.
Yeah, then everything will be absolutely fine. Mom has a gentle personality, so I don't think she'll do anything like what people call daughter-in-law abuse. I've never been scolded by her in my long life either. She's such a gentle person.
That's good then. I don't know much about your mother either, so I was just a little worried.
Your concern's very justified, honey. Don't worry. But if you're in trouble, you can always talk to me. And if anything happens, I'll deal with it properly. So let's do our best together.
Hell yeah!
Okay then, so it's decided. Thank you so much, Kisaki.
And that's how we started living with my mother-in-law in a two-family house. A month later, we had successfully decided on a new two-family house to buy. And as soon as we moved, Mrs. Katsuyama came with all her belongings packed.
Truly though, Atsushi, Kazaki, my dears, thank you so much for thinking about me. I'm so happy to know you were concerned.
Oh, please. This is my way of thanking you for everything, Mom. I really can't thank you enough.
Thank you too, Kazaki dear.
It's been a while, Mrs. Katsuyama. I'm glad you were so happy to hear the news.
We've just unpacked all our things. So how about we rest in each other's rooms for a while and go out for dinner tonight?
Great idea. This is a celebration for us moving, so why don't we order sushi for dinner?
Oh, that's an even better idea. It's been a while since I've had dinner with Mom, so let's order some good sushi.
Ah, Atsushi, can I ask you something?
What's up, Mom?
Remind me, the locks on my house and yours are different?
Yeah, that's right. Is something wrong?
It'd be terrible if something were to happen and I couldn't get in your house. Just to be on the safe side, can I get a spare key to your house?
Huh? A spare key?
Yeah, a spare key. I want to be able to come in whenever I want, you see. Is that okay?
But ma'am, this is our room as husband and wife. So if you need anything, just ring the intercom and I'll open it right away. I'm usually at home after all.
Excuse me? When you say it that way, it sounds like you don't want to give me a spare key to your house. But I guess it's just my imagination, right?
No, that's not what I meant. But I think it would be better for the future if we secured a private space for Atsushi and I, as well. That's all, ma'am. You think so too, right, Atsushi?
Really, Atsushi? Don't you think it would be okay to give me a spare key? I came all the way out of my house from the countryside, and I want to be able to see you guys without any hindrance, see?
Atsushi, you know the promise we made back then, right? I said I wanted each other to respect each other's privacy, right?
Well, it's true that not giving you a spare key might be a bit much, isn't it?
Huh?
It's true that it could be inconvenient in many ways if we couldn't go back and forth between each other's rooms if anything happened. Natural disasters or getting sick are big risks here. Kisaki, don't you think so too?
Maybe you're right. The bastard got manipulated, eh?
Okay then. I'll make a spare key for you by tomorrow. But I must ask you to see us as often as common sense deems it normal, Mom.
Atsushi, thank you. I couldn't be prouder to have a son like you. And as for you, Kazaki dear, there's no problem, is there?
No, of course not.
I thought not. Well, then I hope we can live happily ever after.
Is a spare key really a good idea? However, this one decision would be the beginning of disaster. With the spare key in hand, Mrs. Katsuyama would come over to our living space every day whenever Atsushi was out, finding some excuse or other. One morning...
Kazaki dear, wake up, it's morning.
5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. Wait a minute! Mrs. Katsuyama!
How long do you plan to sleep,
What? I overslept? What time is it now?
At the time? It's already 6 o'clock in the morning. Hurry up and get everything ready, okay?
It's still only 6 o'clock. I thought I overslept.
What sleep talk are you speaking now, woman? From my point of view, you're a great oversleeper, you know.
What?
The wife has to set up 2 hours before her husband does and prepare breakfast, as you should know. This was normal when I was young, you see.
I see. So it was quite hard back then?
Yes. In my time, there were other things like this too. But no need for your sympathy. Just go wash your face now.
Mrs. Katsuyama's attempt at comedy.
Anyway, get up now and prepare breakfast. If you don't hurry, Atsushi will wake up without anything to eat.
Oh, okay.
And before that, let's check the contents of the refrigerator. Wait, oh no! What's going on in the fridge?
Excuse me? What do you mean, ma'am?
There aren't nearly enough vegetables in this, and nutrition will be unbalanced at this rate.
Is that so?
Yes, I think so. At the very least, miso soup with radish, spinach salad, and grilled salmon is mandatory. The balance of a man's breakfast will greatly affect his motivation to be active that day. Could you just buy some from the nearby supermarket? They open early in the morning there, so.
What? Now?
Oh, you just look displeased, don't you? Such a troublesome expression that said, "This is the worst. Such a tedious mother-in-law's come to live with me."
No, that's not true, ma'am. This is the face I made, not a troublesome face.
Just don't make that face at all.
Ay!
Listen, I say this because you're an imperfect wife, and I'm giving you my loving words to teach you, okay?
Ah!
If there's something you're not good at, it'll be a shame if no one points it out properly, won't it? It's all for your sake, remember that.
I'm sorry.
If you understand, hurry up and go buy some groceries at the supermarket. Hurry or Atsushi will wake up.
Yes, I understand.
And you better buy things that are cheap, okay? You guys just moved in, so you have to save money. And you can't waste money.
Yes, I'll hurry. In the end, I was in a huge frenzy in the morning because of Mrs. Katsuyama, and she pushed all the cooking and cleaning up onto me. And by noon, she was taking a nap and snoring. What the actual hell, man? And her bullying didn't end there. One day,
Hey there, Kazaki, do you have a minute?
Mrs. Katsuyama, you've come again today?
What the hell is with that kind of language? It's not like I come here to disturb you as a married couple, okay? It's just to give you an education with love. Got it?
Yeah, and who asked? Nobody wants you to give anyone that education with love you claim you do. Yes, I'm aware. Thank you as always. So what brings you by today?
There's a lot of dust in this house, isn't there?
Oh, really? I vacuum every day. And it doesn't look like there's much dust, but
That's not true. Hey, be on the top of this dresser real quick.
there's a little bit of dust left, ma'am. But isn't this much inevitable? Dust accumulates quickly after all.
Inevitable, she says. Kazaki, dear, listen to me. Dust is very harmful to the human body.
Ha!
I have an allergic tendency too. And even a little bit of dust makes me cough.
If that's the case, just don't come over. Problem solved. I see. I'm sorry if that's the case.
Also, Atsushi had atopic dermatitis when he was a child. Did you know about that?
No, he didn't show any other particular symptoms, so I didn't know. I'm sorry.
It's true that he's much better nowadays. But what if it gets worse again? He's my precious son, and I want you to take good care of him.
Sorry.
I'm glad you understand. Let's try to keep it as dust-free as possible. Well then, please wipe the top of this dresser well.
Yes, ma'am. To be honest, if she invades our space to this extent, there's no point in having a two-family house, and his original promise of securing privacy as a married couple hasn't been kept at all. I was in a difficult situation, so I couldn't help but consult Atsushi. Atsushi, your mother comes here too often. You've probably noticed that, haven't you? No matter how you look at it, don't you think she comes here too often?
Really? Seems okay to me. The house is lively after all.
You can't say such carefree things because you're only at home at night. From my perspective, I'm always at home and your mother tells me all sorts of things, and it's stressful. It's hard for me to say anything, so I want you to say something on my behalf. If this is the case, there's no point in having a two-family house.
Why are you angry? Calm down a bit, Kisaki.
Sorry.
Listen, honey, my mother is my mother, obviously, and she's also a relative of yours. You don't need to get so upset about it.
Upset about it?
Mom is thinking about you, Kisaki, and she isn't being so, for lack of a better word, harsh with you. Don't whine about something small like that.
Atsushi!
I'm tired from work today. If you also get some sleep, I'm sure you'll calm down enough. So let's take a break and talk about it later. Good night.
In the end, Atsushi didn't listen to my feelings at all. I realized that I couldn't rely on anyone anymore, and so I went to Mrs. Katsuyama directly as I decided to speak up. Ma'am, do you have a minute?
What's the matter? Is there something you need?
Yes. I'm terribly sorry to say this, but it has to be said. This is a two-family house, so could you please stop hanging out here all the time?
Excuse me? What do you mean?
Take my words literally, ma'am. Honestly, if things stay this way, Atsushi and I won't have any time for ourselves, or any privacy. If we continue living like this, I'll be crushed under the stress.
Does that mean you're telling me to get out?
Of course, I'm not telling you not to come to my house at all. You're welcome to come over here for meals, of course. I merely ask that we keep our houses and lives separate at other times. This is my only request. It was a once-in-a-lifetime gamble, but Mrs. Katsuyama's answer was unexpected.
Oh, if that's the case, I'll live here.
Excuse me? What do you mean?
If that's the case, I'll live over here, dear. Your issue is that you wonder why I always come to my house, even though we live in a two-family home. That's what you want to say, right? If that's the case, you can just rent out that house to someone else. That way you'll have rental income, and it'll make sense to have a two-family house. So there's no need to complain anymore, is there?
To be honest, I was completely speechless. Why did Mrs. Katsuyama think that there was even anyone who wanted to rent one half of a two-family home? And at the same time that I thought that, I came up with a plan for revenge. I should go along with this opinion for the sake of revenge. Mrs. Katsuyama, that's an amazing idea. If that's the case, we'll certainly have passive income and our lives will be enriched to some extent.
I know, right? Well, there's no reason to complain anymore, right?
I am impressed with the idea, ma'am. Please leave the arrangements for the rental to me. I'll find the best contractor that will make you so tickled pink. Just you wait.
Oh, that's my daughter-in-law right there. Listen to me and all will be well for all of us. Well then, please take care of the arrangements. You're not allowed to complain anymore either. Got it?
Yes, ma'am. And so my journey of vengeance began. That night, after Mrs. Katsuyama and Asushi were asleep, I snuck out of the house in the middle of the night and left. I went back to my parents' house and told them about what my mother-in-law had done to me so far, and asked them for their cooperation with a certain operation. It's a little difficult, but can I ask you to do this?
I can't keep quiet after that load of bullshit done to our daughter.
Neither can I.
Let's do this thoroughly for your sake, sweetie.
Thank you, Daddy. Please give me a month to prepare. Then Operation Vengeance shall be underway. I'll make that mother and son suffer. And a month later, the operation was finally upon us. Mrs. Katsuyama, Atsushi, do you have a minute?
What is it?
I have some good news for you two. Good news. Actually, I finally found the perfect new tenants to rent our other room, and they want to come and see it. May I call them in?
Really? You found someone?
Are they here already?
Yes, they want to see the house as soon as possible. May I call them over?
Oh, of course, I'll greet them too.
And the moment Mrs. Katsuyama and Asushi saw the tenants I had prepared in question, their faces turned deadly pale.
Good afternoon. I'm Kisaki's father.
And I am her mother. My, it's been a while, hasn't it?
What? Kazaki's mother and father? Kazaki, dear, what's all this about?
What do you mean by that, ma'am? You're looking for prospective tenants, right? So I've brought you some prospective tenants.
Do you have any complaints?
We came to take a look around. Is that okay?
Yes, of course, it's okay, folks. Please, feel free to look around.
But before that, can I just say something?
What? By all means, sir.
I'm sorry, but we came from the countryside and haven't had any food since coming here yet. I'm sorry, but could you perhaps prepare something for us?
Oh, I see. Why, yes. We'll certainly make something here. Atsushi, do we have anything in the fridge?
Oh, I'll check. Let's see. What the hell?
What's wrong?
Why is the refrigerator completely empty?
What? There should have been food in it. There was until yesterday.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm the culprit.
Why would you do such a thing?
Why would I? I didn't think much of it. I was a little hungry, so I ate the food we had at home. You know how when you're stressed, you get hungry, right?
What?
This is a problem, people. We're guests, aren't we? Please, prepare something for us. It's been a while since we've seen everyone, too.
Yes, so it has.
You're not going to let us go home hungry, are you, Ms. Katsuyama?
Well,
In that case, I'm sorry. But could you go and buy some groceries immediately?
That's a grand idea. I actually want you to go, but I have a mountain of things I want to say to you. So please, go and buy some instead, Atsushi. Yes, sir. Right away, sir.
And what is this, Mrs. Katsuyama?
oh, what is it, ma'am?
There's a lot of dust in the room. Even though there are people who want to move into this place, are you going to let them go through a house like this?
Oh, no, well,
I mean, isn't it because you kept this house vacant and kept bullying our daughter that allowed it to get so dusty? What do you think?
well,
And it seems that you said the exact same thing to Kazaki, didn't you? If that's the case, I must request that you clean everything up immediately so that there's not even a speck of dust left.
yes, ma'am, I shall clean it up promptly.
Mrs. Kasuyama, do you know why we're doing this?
What?
It's because you treated our daughter the same way. I want to make sure you feel the same pain, and what better way to do that than to act as you do?
Well, sir,
If you understand how painful it is, then please apologize to my daughter immediately. You can do that much, I suppose.
damn!
If my daughter feels uncomfortable about this, you can, right?
Damn it! Kazaki, dear, I'm sorry for everything I've done up until now. I regret having forced such things on you. Please, forgive me.
Pathetic. The fact that you couldn't even understand such a simple thing. I appreciate that you apologized for what you've done, but my feelings have not changed. I'm going to divorce Atsushi and leave this house.
No, please.
I've already made up my mind. Please go on living happily together in this house from now on. Thank you for everything you've done for me.
And so, we shall excuse ourselves as well.
And so after that, I officially divorced Atsushi, said goodbye to this hellish life in the two-family house, and decided to go back to live with my parents and turn over a new leaf. After that, I heard that Atsushi and his mother still lived together in that big house, but they were constantly fighting, blaming each other as the reason I ran away. It seems that the house was sold soon after, and the relationship between parent and child had deteriorated to rock bottom. Through this incident, I learned once again that living in a two-family house should be done under a solid relationship. It may have been a good experience just to have learned that, honestly. From now on, with the support of my parents, I would like to look for a new life partner whom I can trust with keeping promises.